Hi all, as a part of the Angular best practices, today we are going to see how to Dockerize our Angular application for our development environment. So the things we will be seeing is first we will check the prerequisite for Dockerizing our development environment. Number two, we will be set up some files for in our Angular application for a Dockerization. And number three, we will be deploying, which means we'll be creating a Docker image and we'll be running our Docker application on local. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Let's see our prerequisite. First, we need to install Node.js. It may be either LTS or a current version. If the application is for production, use LTS. If it's for experimental, use current based on your operating system. Once the installation is being completed, you can just validate it via a node-v, check the node version, and npm-v to check the npm version where it is installed approximately. Once a node installation is completed, just restart your system, get configured on your environmental configuration. Then we will be moving up with the next installation, Angular CLI. If the Angular CLI is not installed already in your system, just copy it and paste it in your command prompt so it will be get installed. If it is already installed, you want to check the version, and type ng-version, check the Angular CLI version which is installed on your system. Then the third thing is you need to install Docker. Based on your operating system, you can install the appropriate version for you. If it is perfectly installed, you will get the icon over here as a Docker desktop, and we will be having this template options, and you can validate in a command prompt called Docker version to check whether it is appropriately running. So the Docker version runs on a two type. One is on a Hyper-V and one is on WS. We prefer to use Hyper-V instead of WSL. So once after the installation is complete, while installation is completed, it will ask you to restart. Kindly restart your system so that it will be configured appropriately on your system respective of OS. So in this video, I will be using a code editor as a Visual Studio Code. You can have your own preferences based. It's not a mandatory thing, so you can use it anything code editor on your preference. Okay, so we have seen all the prerequisite which is required, and the next thing we will be doing is we will be configuring our Docker to configuring our Angular application run inside Docker for our development environment. So let's start the code. As a second step, we need to Dockerize our Angular application. This is my existing Angular application which is for the Angular best practices. If you don't have any Angular application, you can just type ng new the project's name for us, test project app. So it will create your new Angular application. If you have any doubts on regarding to this, you can just follow this section. This ng new app, and it will create a folder and it will create all the required files for the Angular. So as I already have a Angular app existing, so I am proceeding with the existing application. I will go through this thing. If you need routing, you can select options and set the CSS, and it will start generating the files and it will install the npm package. You can see it generated and installing the packages. Currently I'm discarding it and moving forward with my existing Angular app. So what I'm actually going to do is, first thing what we need to do is we need to create a new file called DockerFile.dev. Dev indicates for the development environment, and we need to create a one more file called .docker ignore. So we can ignore some files which is being adding into the Docker context. First file what we're going to do is we're going to do node modules, because it is not required inside a Docker file. Once the Docker file is there, first what we are going to do is we need to pull the base node options, which is from node 12.7 alpha. Then we need to create a directory inside a Docker. Run dir define b this path /user app. It creates a directory for me there, and I need to set the working directory slash 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 app. Then what I'm doing is I'm going to copy my package .json file to the user. So this use is an existing folder available in the node. So as app. Once after copying that, we will be installing our npm packages. Once the installation has been completed, we'll be copy all the files into as app, and then our application package JSON, I am exposing the port in 5200 instead of 4200. I need to expose the port at last md m start, as I need to use the IP mapping, so I need to add as options here host 0.0.0.0. so it exposes me with any ports which I will be using on my local. So this is the dev.docker file where we need to set up, and we need to use this. And if you are going to use any other than the npm start, which is such like docker, you can use additional param options called run, as used to run as default on npm. Okay, so I'm using default here. So currently we have set up our docker environment for this application to run. Next what we will be doing is we will be dockerizing this application and run inside the container. Okay, the third and final step is to build our Angular application and run the Angular application inside Docker. The first thing we need to do is we need to build the Angular application, create a Docker image for our Angular application. For this, the command is docker build -c and the tag name and our Docker file. As we mentioned, this is a DockerFile.dev. I have mentioned the file here as DockerFile.dev. Just open up any terminal and paste it here. So it will recognize my Docker file and get starting the image for me to run our application. So it copied all the layers and it's created and run all the npm packages, and my image is currently now got completed. So as you can see here, there was a ng angular practice image is already built over here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to run this application using the command docker run -t, which indicates the terminal need to be get open, and -rm indicates that once we stop the command, the container will be get terminated, and the port which we have configured is 5200, and we are exposing with the port 9001, and we need to map our source code to the Docker file so that whenever we make some changes in the code here, it will be affected inside the Docker. For this, you need to open up the Docker here, which is you can right click and click on dashboard. We can come up with this option and edit. Just go to resources, check for file sharing, and add that folder here. I am already added it. If you want to add a new folder, click, select the folder and add. Once it is added, you need to restart it, our Docker. So once this is done, we can execute this. Just copy, create a screen and paste it here. So this password is the running directory of the application, which is ng angular practice. After that, there was a file called src. If you're able to see it here, this is the folder and this is the src. pwd indicates the path of the running directory where the docker run is happening. So it getting started, and the meanwhile I already run the application locally here, where you can see this is the existing application which is running in the local, not inside the Docker. So this is the site which is used for Angular best practices, and it's hello world all the modules. So we will be catching up with these practices in the upcoming videos. How to implement the reactive form and normal form, and how to efficiently use the ng classes, and how to use a configuration based mechanism, those kind of stuff. So let's see, my application is getting started here over here. Let us wait till it comes like this, and let us give some time for it to get it build succeed. My build is just got completed, so let us see where we can able to run it. This local host 9001. So my application is running inside Docker, and this is running inside local, and it is Docker. Let us go and do some code changes where it is been affected inside a Docker. Go home, HTML, and add something running Docker app in environment. As you can see, there was a code changes and it has been compiled, and it has been updated here as well here. So it seems that the both the either if we run in the local and either if it is running in the Dockerization, both the code changes has been getting affected, as well as here and here. So by this, the third step is getting completed, where we can able to Dockerize our application. Let us stop this. If it stops here, and the container will be going off here also. There was no container, and let us stop this one too. So we have successfully created a Docker image, and we are able to run our application inside the Docker. With the Dockerization, what we are solving is we are solving our system's environmental dependency. For example, if I need to work on the two different Angular application, one will be in a 6.1, one will be in a 10. I need to have a different node SAS and packaging models. It may get conflict between the both my Angular application. So by Dockerizing this application on the 6.1, I can able to run an application in smooth way as same as in a Docker Angular CLI 10. So it creates an isolation for the application for you to develop in your system. So with this Dockerization, we are solving this main issue where most of the developers will be facing. So I hope you are able to do the Dockerization for all your application. Just practice it because practice makes the man perfect. And we do all the mistakes, and it's okay that we go with the mistakes and be able to correct it. So from this, the takeaway, you can able to Dockerize your application and you can run it on your local. So if you're still here, thank you. And if you like this video, just subscribe to this channel. And on every week, we will be posting a new video regarding Angular best practices. This wraps up today, and have a nice day. Thank you.